The modern cryptocurrency landscape is a system of massive scale, operating entirely without central authority. It is a financial network functioning completely without physical borders. What specific psychological profile is required to build the infrastructure for a world where the ground is constantly shifting? The answer begins in 1977 in the coastal city of Lianyanggang, China. Though his father was a university professor and his mother a teacher, their education made them a family under suspicion in the lingering shadow of the Cultural Revolution. This suspicion meant they moved often. By age 12, he had lived in 12 different places, adapting to shifting dialects. This relentless nomadism hardwired his brain to function in environments where nothing was permanent. In 1989, his family joined his father in Vancouver. They didn't arrive as refugees fleeing war, but as immigrants seeking a better framework, a new country where they could build something more stable than what they left behind. For a child raised on powdered milk, the first taste of a fresh carton in Vancouver was revelatory. It was cold and creamy, a small signal of a much larger change in what was possible. But the classroom was a different kind of shock. Textbook English and conversational English are different languages. He sat in silence, trying to piece together meaning from context and body language. He found refuge in mathematics. Numbers are universal, requiring no cultural nuance to solve. In math class, he could participate through pure logic, bypassing the barriers of language. When human communication failed him, he learned to seek power and competence within systems that operated on rules rather than social connections. At 14, he took a job at McDonald's. It wasn't just a paycheck. It was his first exposure to a high-efficiency operational system. At the grill, his accent and his background were irrelevant. What mattered was the output, flipping burgers quickly, counting change accurately, and showing up on time. During this time, his father bought a 286 DOS computer, an extravagance the family could barely afford. He spent hours teaching himself to code from library books. He discovered that software was something you could build with nothing more than time and intellect. Social connections and cultural nuance are hard to fake, but a library book and a 286 computer allowed him to build functional tools from his bedroom. In the digital world, intellect was the only gatekeeper he had to satisfy. Mastering these systems, first operational efficiency at a burger joint, then software, gave him a repeatable advantage. While others relied on established social networks, he relied on the ability to decode any system he walked into. By 1995, Vancouver had become home, but instead of remaining in that newfound stability, he chose to move across the continent. He chose McGill University in Montreal, 3,000 miles away. He wanted to see if the adaptability he developed in Vancouver would actually transfer to a completely different ecosystem. Montreal was a city of harsh, freezing winters, where people navigated the downtown core through an illuminated network of underground tunnels. He found that the same skills, observing the logic of a new environment and building competence before confidence, worked just as well in Quebec as they had in British Columbia. Change was no longer a traumatic childhood disruption. It was now a highly refined tool he could deploy anywhere on Earth. Over the next 2 decades, he stayed in motion, moving between global financial hubs from Tokyo to New York to Shanghai. This path led him into cryptocurrency, an industry being built in real time, completely devoid of historical rules or central authority. The ability to tolerate uncertainty, learned through 12 childhood moves, mapped perfectly to this volatility. He didn't need the rules to be written yet. He was used to navigating a world where they didn't exist. This mindset allowed him to build a massive, borderless exchange platform that now processes trillions of dollars in global transactions. He was uniquely capable of building a system for moving global value because he had been preparing for a world without borders since he was 12 years old, stepping off a plane into the bright Vancouver